How the fuck are we just going to pretend that we didn't start this podcast before this? Now we just started. Louis,
Should we do
how
all
are we
the
good?
moaning again?
Eh?
Do we have to do all that moaning again now?
Yeah, just do it all again. Just fucking bitch about everybody off camera.
Restart.
So the newest, I think you're the newest Classic Pro, aren't you?
I am at the minute until the
Oh.
weekend. There'll be another one.
But yeah, probably, but not from the UK, I don't think.
Hey, what way? Fucking hell, mate.
It's true athlete. It's true
guy on this
athlete.
weekend.
Yeah, it's true athlete this weekend.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. So yeah, it will be actually fucking hell. I don't even know what fucking show it is. How are you feeling after winning your pro card, bud?
Do you know what? Like now, just fucking exactly the same, mate. I'm not gonna lie. Like for a while, I say it's been a bit of a weird one, really. Like for the first couple of days, it was a little bit like fucking hell. Like, do you know when you? Because for me, I think it's probably the same for most people, or you guys is anyway. I've been trying to get this for fucking years, man. Mm-hmm. So many years. Like the first time I attempted to even go for it was in men's physique in like 2017 or something stupid. Mm-hmm. I was natty as well. And it's just when you finally get it, it was like, oh shit, now I'm actually finally trying to chase the next thing. Like the thing that I've been thinking I'd be eventually chasing. Now I actually am. It's like a weird realization because there's always that thing in bodybuilding where you're pretty satisfied with the fact that you might not get there anyway. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So when you do, and you're like, oh shit, now I've got to think about the next thing. That was pretty overwhelming at first.
It was cool, bro. I dropped you a WhatsApp, right? And I thought, shit, I might be late here. I dropped you a WhatsApp saying like, look, you're exactly where you need to be right now, Lou. Don't overthink it, all this kind of stuff. And the next thing you know, I'd seen the post, he's turned pro, and I'm like, he's not going to message me back for about 5 days now. He's not going to see that message.
Yeah, that was strange. I've never had so many fucking messages in my life.
Crazy, isn't it?
That was
all in, man.
Weird for me. Like a little bit, you're not you're normally used to that kind of thing. Like I just speak to the people that I speak to. So to have everybody kind of dropping, everyone messaging you is weird. Like
not cool when they do, and you're like, shit, look at all these people that are actually watching, or you don't realize they're watching.
Yeah, it's weird. I suppose that's true. Yeah. And then as kind of time went on, time went on now, I'll be honest, mate, like I just feel exactly the same. I don't think you really do feel any different, do you? Like I'm just doing the same thing. I'm essentially just a lot worse than I was now.
Did you find it was like, for me personally, it was almost like a relief. Like, thank fuck that's done.
Yeah, like, do you know what the relief was at first? Because I didn't quite really register it or realise. The relief was, thank fucking hell, I've not heard a second or a third or a fourth again. Yeah. Not really realising, like, thank fuck I ain't got that upset again. Not really sitting and thinking about what I just achieved. It wasn't really until I'd walked off stage and done all the stuff that you have to do, because they had me running around for ages doing loads of shoots and interviews and loads of stuff. It wasn't until I'd walked over to the people that I was with that it finally fucking hit me, and I was like, it was weird. It was like a fucking wall. It's like I'd walked up to and just hit a wall, and then just hit me straight away.
Who was with you, mate? Did you have a few people there?
I had some of the boys with me, like Kenny, who's been coming through my prep. Ryan knows Kenny, I think.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he's been fucking I don't actually think I'd have done the prep if it weren't for him, to be fair. He's dragged my ass through this shit more than anyone. Nath came out, which was decent. And then we had obviously a lot of the lads like Joe Ballinger, Jimmy Tonk, some of the Physique Collective guys, things like that. So a lot of the boys from the UK, and we all just kind of met up and at the gym, fucking hung out. It was good.
What did you do after the show?
Not much. I think I had a chicken breast and a handful of chips.
That's when you know
you're had some shisha, chilled, and did nothing, mate. It's pretty relaxed.
That's when you know you're a real bodybuilder. That's what we do now.
It's pretty disappointing, mate. I'm not gonna lie, but it was because as well, Kenny and the other lad that I was in are 5 weeks out at the time, and I'm not the sort of person. If you've come to Spain with me to support me, I'll wait until I get home and see the rest of my family and stuff. I'm going to get back on my diet. I'm going to prep my meals. I'm going to carry on with you because you've come to support me. It's my turn. Do you know what I mean? So
you're right. You're right.
What would you? So would you say? Obviously, you said Kenny dragged you through this prep. Now, what's been different this prep to any other prep?
Everything, mate. The whole thing. Like last year, my whole prep was like 36 weeks in total. This one was 8. In terms of like decisions, so like the way we've kind of done it is Nath is obviously my coach. Nath makes the main base of decisions, but every decision we make on every check-in, because we was checking in daily, me, him, and Kenny would go back and forth and have a chat about this, position I was in. So Kenny would be able to have eyes on me in person in the gym. He'd be able to like go back and forth with Nath. This is how he's looking in the flesh. This is like a better realistic view of what he's got going on. Them two would be able to devise a little bit of plan, ask me how I'm feeling, I'd give my feedback, and then we'd set me up for the day. And just doing it like that as a little bit of a team and just kind of having multiple sort of heads to bounce back and feedback, Nath setting the plans, but then him having the confidence to know that was going to get like relayed properly, feedback was going to get back to him like bang on the money. We could all kind of work together to bring the best. So it was really fun, like really enjoyable.
Yeah, that I think as well, having a prep where you've got that support and the people around you understand, and you don't feel like isolated in this little bubble of like prep.
Just felt like I had an actual team for once, mate. Like I've always just felt like it's been me. I'm just off doing my work in my own little life, and then I'm just sending like my shots and my data, and then just cracking back on. Like that's fine. I'm happy to do that. I love doing that. But this year was a lot more close knitted, and I really did like respond really well to that. Like mentally being around just people every day that are on you and that are doing the same shit as you, like it just levels you up, mate.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of the sort of the Kuwait, the Dubai, that sort of aspect, that's what people crave in them environments. Because your energy, people who are around you in your environment and energy is basically, it's everything, isn't it, really?
Oh, for sure, mate, for sure.
And it definitely allows you to level up as well from, or I find it when I've got that support network, I don't want to let them down. I've got someone I can like rely on, but I'm not trying to prove anybody wrong anymore.
Just that little bit of extra pressure, innit?
Yeah, but it's a good pressure where it's not like, oh, it's going to take away from what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it's not a negative pressure because you're trying to impress. You're not trying to catch back up, or you're not trying to fix something that you've broken, or it's not that kind of pressure. It's like the pressure of just trying to make sure you're good enough for somebody.
Do you find like you put a lot more pressure on yourself, or you get a lot more external pressure from like, winning a pro card? Everyone's like, you're going to win a pro card, you're going to get the pro card, or do you put that on yourself?
More so myself. I'd say that probably both. I do get aspects of both, and I do feel a lot of positive pressure from the people around me. But I wouldn't say that it's a necessity for me to do what I do, because ultimately I've done this for like years before I even knew that other people did it. I did it before I even had social media, or I really knew that there was a bodybuilder community. So I enjoy myself just working at something. Just having my own little thing to just go off and work on. I'm happy to do that. But I suppose it's been the first time I found people that are extremely similar to me. I've always found been around people for years that they have the same interest and they might like it, but they've maybe not been exactly the same way in terms of mindset, drive. I think now this time with my team that I've got around me, I just feel like, when everyone's very similar to you, you've all got the same kind of passions and drive, and it just clicks a bit more. That's kind of how it kind of felt.
It's the same with me and Kieran, really, isn't it? But like we've had it where he keeps me on a certain level and I'll keep him on a certain level. It's like, well, he ain't going to slip, and I'm definitely on. So it just keeps you accountable.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly how it is, mate. It's absolutely bang on it. It makes it so much more enjoyable as well. Like this whole like prepping on your own and like doing it in your own little like cave does not appeal to me at all. Like being part of a fucking team community, being around good people, enjoying the sport, getting out there, meeting people, doing stuff like that is what it is. Like that is what I do.
I feel like that mindset of going, oh, I've got to be hardcore. You see some people on socials, right? And I'm not actually digging at anyone because I can't even specifically think of people, but I've definitely seen this where they just aren't good at socials, right? They're not good at getting themselves out there. So they'll post stuff every so often by saying, hey, remember when there was no tripods? Remember when there was no podcast? Remember when you used to just do it yourself and then just turn up on the day? And I'm thinking, you're just reflecting your own insecurities because you're no good at it. You've got to move
Yeah.
with times. You can't be a
But right
dinosaur.
at the end of the day, what top person in their field is sat there going, "Oh, look at all the people down there using their tripods"? Like,
I
no, they're
know.
not. Like, if you're
No, not
doing
at
well,
all.
you're not looking at what everyone else is doing anyway.
Got to go with the times. But
I
the
know.
point I'm getting at is, like, them people that do go hardcore and eat dry tins of tuna and train on their own and don't speak to people and just live a boring existence. Like, if they weren't bodybuilding, they'd probably be recluses anyway. Like, they'd have a boring life and be boring people. Yeah, and it's only making it harder for yourself because you sit inside your own head so much more. So I've had a lot of praise recently off people. What the fuck's that on my screen? But a lot of praise saying, like, you know, I can't believe how you can do this as you're running into shows and stuff. How do you keep up with all this energy? And I'm like, it ain't my energy. It's other people's energy around me, and I'm just fucking stealing it off him. You know what I mean? Like, the last few shows we've been to, I've not thought about myself because I've been thinking about all the people around me and making sure that everyone else is on point. That you don't have to like look for motivation and look for energy. It's just there from them.
Yeah, it is. It's good. It's really
How
good.
do you, Louis, how do you find running coaching and chasing a pro card? Because there is a certain level of
I'll be honest, mate. I've actually dropped my clients and capped my numbers lower.
Yeah, I think everyone does, don't they?
I did that in prep, and thought, what's a really manageable number that I can work with. I've got enough time to just give 100% every day, regardless of the energy that I've got, regardless of what day I'm in, but still got enough time to bodybuild. Now, you'll know yourselves as coaches, you can't have tons of clients doing that.
no, you
Not
can't.
if you want to work closely with your clients anyway. If you've got competitive clients, good lads. So I just put a cap on it and just said, look, I'm only going to work with the people I know I can handle. Any more than that, I am just going to pass it off. I am not going to take on any extra responsibility just so that I don't run that risk. And I just had to be more smart, I think. I think it's just more planning. It's just more routine structure. And it's a lot more discipline with your routine as well. Like, just make sure that, like, for me, it was just making sure every day was literally so planned out time-wise with what I know I needed to do by certain parameters and things like that, that I wouldn't miss anything. And it prioritizing certain things. So it might be like, for me, I'll know that, right, okay, I have 10 check-ins to do today, and that's all that I can do. So I've got enough time to have proper conversations with them all. I've got enough energy to give you a phone call each if you need one, or whatever you may need that day. But I'll get all that done straight away. So that'll be
the
the
biggest task
first thing
first.
that I do as soon as I wake up. You guys get covered. That's that. Then obviously, as my energy dips throughout the day and it gets towards the back end of the day, I've technically already done all of my work. My clients are more than happy because we've been chatting all morning, all day. They're good to go, and I've got like the rest of my energy just to delve into bodybuilder pro card Lewis.
This is exactly what I do. Like, the reason obviously bringing Kieran on board is exactly the same reason. If I want to try and get to Olympia, I'm not going to be able to.
It is just a simple fact, because you don't have the head. Like, it's not people don't understand it. It's not even necessarily for me. Like, I could have 100 clients checking in a week. That's sound. The check-in's fine. No. I want to actually be able to chat to you and get to know you, and I cannot have the energy to get to know an individual that many individuals on a personal level if I'm having to put so much of my own focus and energy towards such a big task like a pro card.
Yeah, 100%. I was the same. Like, it's basically looking at it for me as where can I delegate my time, but also, like you say, energy as well. Like, you have to kind of balance it where it's like, I've got enough energy to be a pro bodybuilder, but I can also give these people and almost keeping client retention. I'd rather keep 70 clients for fucking years and years than trying to churn of like, oh, fucking hell, he's dropped off, signing, onboarding, and so on. It just doesn't make sense. And it's something that I always struggle with because I'm a very much like, oh, I need to help everybody. Like, if someone messaging me like, oh, can you go? I'm like, fuck. But now obviously having Kieran on board, that's why I was like, I need somebody who's going to come in, do the job as well as I do, have the energy that I do, the same sort of mindset, and then they can basically take on more clients and we can help more people rather than just be like me turning people away.
That's where the quality of client comes into play, though, and that was part of the reason as well why I came on board with yourself, because I was like, look, I'm at a level now where I need to start pushing, and I've got clients there supposed to check in before 9 a.m. and they'll check in at 11 p.m. and expect to reply.
Yeah.
And you don't want to give a shit coaching service, but you're thinking you're taking the piss out of my time. Like my time's important. So when do you want me to actually get back to you for that check-in? So
I
you
think
need
that's
to know that if you, like you just said then, Lou, all your energy is there for people in the morning. So if you've got from like 6 a.m. till dinner time, perfect. You can't tell me that no matter what people do for the job, you can still just get up, take your check-in pictures and go back to bed. Send check-in. I do it. I do it myself.
My clients are happy to do it though, because they understand that if they do that, what they're going to get back from that.
Yes, give 100% and you'll give 110. Because
you know what I mean? It's like, right, if you are happy, you know, you start work at, I don't know, you might start work at 5, that's sound. If you're happy to get up just before 4 o'clock, usually get up at 4, whatever, and send me them pictures just from 1 day a week or 2 days a week or whatever I've got you set for, then here's what I'm going to give you for the rest of the day, and here's what we're going to have set up for you. So it's worth it. If you don't do it, you don't get that. Simple. So up to you.
And like I said, that client retention then it just stays for years on years because they understand the level of service that they're going to get, rather than just being another number, another amount of money, another shit checking of like thumbs up, well done. It's like
that's so. I think I said to a couple of people the other day, rather than in Newton, I was like, "Do you get excited for your check-in?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Good, you fucking should be. You should. Once you've checked in, you should all be thinking, I can't wait to check in again." And these reasons, either the reason is because you know, one, I fucking smashed it, and I want to show the coach that I've smashed it, or two, I'm having issues and I need something fixing, like, and then we can address it. Like for now, say for example, Jamie's in America, so our time schedule is different. So I get up at 5, do my check-in for him, and if I'm tired, I'll go back to bed. But I'm not going to wait until, like, if I slept in to say 8 o'clock or something, then if I'm going to be half-arsed with him, then I know that he might just have to wake up at 2 in the morning and be like, yeah, that's sound, mate, and just be half-arsed with me, and it just doesn't sit well.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like you say, it's picking as well. If you're managing, chasing a pro card and coaching, it is picking the right people, the right clients that want to actually work with you, because then they're going to give you what you need, and then it's going to be loads of stress. So it's that as well, I guess. Yeah, you are right.
100%. What's the future for you now? But I think I said on your story, you're going to compete again.
So do you know what, mate? Like we've been and ahhing of like different ideas for a while of what to do. Now, what I want to do, and I don't know if it's a sensible thing to do. I don't really care. I'll do it. I just want to see where I stand. Now, the opportunity for me to do that, I was either going to do the True Athlete at the weekend. I'm not going to, by the way, now. But I was at first when we was in Spain thinking about it, which would give me 2 weeks. But I've obviously increased the weight cap. I'm quite far off. 2 weeks, realistically, like I'm not nowhere near like pros your standard and things like that yet. I'm not naive to that, so I need to be a bit better. We've got 15 weeks until I go to Italy with Kenny, because Kenny's doing a Euro Masters Classic Pro Card Pro Qualifier.
What date's that?
Do you know what, mate? I'm not actually sure. It's in the back end. It's like 15 weeks away, wherever that'll be.
Yeah, it's like be October.
So he's got that Masters show on one of the days, and there's a pro show on that weekend in Italy. So if I'm there already with him, like, and there's a show and it's 15 weeks ago, I said to Nath, like, look, let's just see how good we can make me in 15 weeks, because we've been fighting off me gaining weight for years.
Yeah.
Like actually trying to put on tissue for years. Like I've been sat at the weight cap for the last 4 years that I've been competing. Do you know what I mean? I've got better within it, but I'm still not any really that much bigger. So it's going to just be like, right, okay, now we can just let the reins off and grow. So let's just see what I look like in 15 weeks. Let's just put me on a pro stage. Let's see if I either get absolutely fucking spanked or I look okay. Either way is fine, because they both have the same outcome. And then we have exactly what we need in front of us comparatively to go off and try to improve again for whenever like my actual full on go for it will be. Do you know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. I was always the same with the initial like staying in that fucking weight cap for years.
Do you know what I don't want to do for me is that, and I know how I work mentally, and I know what like switches me on and G's me up, is that I need to visually see what's in front of me to be able to focus a lot more. So like, for example, do you know, like say like 2020 when we were competing and you was winning your pro card and it was like you guys at the top, like you, Jimmy, Bob, you guys were all winning. I was kind of like in a tier down in terms of quality from all you boys. I was not at that next kind of top amateur stage yet. The best thing I did was go to that show purposely to go and compete against you lot.
Yeah.
So that I could see the difference.
Yeah.
Because then the next couple of years, that's what I knew I had to look like. I could see it, like I'd actually witnessed it. So what I don't want to do is like go away for the next year, 18 months in an off season with absolutely blind to exactly what I need to look like. I'd rather use that 15 weeks. I'll get a massive mental G up and it'll really dial me in focus wise, I think, to just then know exactly what needs to be done to see if I can grab the qual.
In hindsight, like me having that long 12-month off season, I shouldn't have done it. Not that I shouldn't have done it, but it was unnecessary because now I've got a 16-week off season. I can stay fucking lasered locked in for 16 weeks, like boom. And I'll probably make more progress than having 12 months of being like, because we get to a certain stage, you probably get what, 4 or 5 months into an off season, like, I'm fucking sick of it. I feel like shit.
And can I be honest as well? Like, I know a lot of people say like you need long off seasons, but I'm a bodybuilder. Like, one of the best things about what I do is getting on stage.
Yeah.
So like, I want to actually do that as a pro, like a reasonable amount, especially because I've been amateur bodybuilding for 10 years. I ain't got 10 years in the pro leagues left. So I want as many opportunities to just have a fucking crack at it and have a good time as I can. Like, it's what I like to do. So I want to get on the stage.
Some people say, it's a different mindset as well going into pro leagues. Like you say, we're starting at the bottom. So really everything is an experience. Everything, like I was looking at like, okay, well, let's go to Spain. That was a fucking amazing experience. Like people are like, oh, you did shit. I'm like, I don't really care. Like the experience was amazing. I'm looking at the guys who've done Tampa Pro, the Texas Pro.
Yeah, but Ryan, it's one of them, innit? Like, I went to Spain and competed in a fucking pro show. Like, how many people can realistically say that they're at the elite level that they're able to go and do that? Like, that's seriously elite level. That takes serious like sportsmanship and like dedication and effort and drive. Like, so that's what you get from that.
But even
people don't know
that. Even the atmosphere, even the travel, even the people I was with, it was all a fucking amazing experience. And people like, when you get to this certain level, it's like you're just going to earn the placings over time. It's not just going to be like, oh, I'm going to jump to first. I think because everyone's seen you win so many times in amateurs, as soon as you turn pro, they expect you to win again.
But they don't get like the mindset, do they, as well? Because it's like, I was speaking to Jimmy about this, and he was saying like turning pro was the best, most enjoyable thing for his bodybuilding he ever did because it just removes all pressure immediately. It's like a complete blank slate, just refresh, like which is brilliant because it matters not if you come dead last or if you come dead first for a little bit of time.
I think that's what I was saying when it was like, when I won my pro card, it was a relief. I was like, because everybody, you'll have had the same thing. Everybody expected you to win a pro card over and over again. And every time you got second, it was like, fuck, oh, you'll get it next time. It's quite patronizing. Oh, it should be all right. You deserved it. Oh, you was robbed. And it's like, I wasn't.
I didn't deserve it anyway.
but that's the thing is like, it relieves that sort of pressure in a sense, doesn't it? To be like, well, actually, I'm not expected to fucking win now. Yeah, 100%.
I'm happy with it. I'm happy with how I won it. I'm happy with everything that I've done for it. I'm happy about it. So.
Yeah, mate, you absolutely smashed it, to be fair. And I think looking at your physique, you actually have potential with a pro card. Do you know what I mean? Like genetically.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's just hard work over time, really. And you've got both of them, innit? That's
I think if I can keep exactly where I am, then we'll see what the limits are.
Yeah,
but hopefully.
Keep rinsing the process. Did you do anything different with Nath on this prep?
Quite a lot, yeah.
Like what? What did you do?
Training was different. The way that I train is more for me now. Like he understands that I've been bodybuilding for 10 years. Like if I'm gonna do a movement, if he's gonna put something in for back or this, and I slightly tweak it, or I want to hit it like this or do it like that, he knows that I feel that, and I'm doing that because I feel that. So it's less rigid training. A lot of my training last year was quite monotonous throughout the entire prep. Like everything was like real, which is great. And I trained more of the style as to like where everything's so specific. So you log everything, every time of every rep, tempo is counted, that was like that. Yeah. this year has not been like that. Like, I've not logbooked anything. I've not done any specific tempos on my training. Me and Kenny have gone, right, these are what the volume we need to do today. This is the work we need to do today. This is what we need to hit. We're going in the gym at this time. Let's fucking work.
Yeah.
And we've done that every day, and it has been like, fucking training has gone through the roof.
Because you're enjoying it.
Yeah, that is the main thing. Nutrition was different. We obviously did an 8-week prep, so we had to pull off 14 kilo in 8 weeks. So we have had to do some fucking pretty mad shit to get me there.
Well, how high did your cardio go? And how low did your food go?
Cardio didn't really go high. I think we got to a maximum of 45 minutes Stairmaster and 15k steps, which is fuck all. Like, let's be honest. Like, there's people doing 2 hours and 20k. It's nothing. I'm not going to moan at that. Food literally got as low as no food. We did do days of no food. So to make weight, yeah. So yeah, like up close to shows, like my meals were literally, say for example, like a meal for me would have been close to a show, like 150 grams of turkey. Like that's a meal, or like 40 grams of whey. Like there would be my meals all throughout the day. Because we weren't able to make weight, like we weren't able to put like loads of volume in through like adding shit tons of veggies and all that crap. Like it would just be like a handful of meat, and I'd eat that for the next 3 hours, and then that.
Yeah, I've done the same. I've done the same thing, bro. It's fucking horrendous.
That's how low you need to fucking go. I mean, me and Kieran actually spoke about this on a message. Do you know what? I'll outright tell you that I find that way easier in bodybuilding than in 6 months' time when I'm fucking trying to eat meal 6 on the sofa at the end of the day. I tell you now, I will take the opposite. I'll take that suffering any day. I actually will. And that sounds weird, but I will.
You know what, bro? You know what's fucking mad is, right? You noticed our back door, right? You know, it's like a stable door. You can open the top half. Yeah. So I remember one year, mate. If you look back now and you think, what a dickhead, your body was just telling you, just don't. I had like 250 grams of oats. I had Nutella. I had honey.
250 grams.
Mate, it was fucking ridiculous. I was pushing over 7,000 calories. This is the last meal of the day, and I'm sweating profusely. And I've got the top half of the door open. I'm hanging over. It's pissing down outside, shoving it in, threw it up. I was like, I'm gonna have to make that again. And I start trying to shovel my way through it, and she was like looking at me, just shaking her head, going, "Nah, it's too much."
It's crazy, isn't it, as well? Because that is, like, I always say that to everybody, like that, you feel lethargic, you feel fucking, you can't do anything, you just want to sleep all the time. Your meals are so big that you're just like, fuck, you know, like it's just not enjoy. I think that's why we're saying these shorter off seasons are a lot better, because you get to that certain point in, like, say 16 to 20 weeks, and you're like, you know what, I'm ready to fucking diet again.
Yeah. Well, if you've got a clear goal where you say, right, I've got 16 or 20 weeks, it's not hard to be like, right, I'm fucking on this, yeah.
Because you're willing, like, yeah. I think that's probably why everyone does so well in prep as opposed to the off seasons, because the parameters and the time frames are so specific that you can just stay so focused on them.
And I think that's why most people
go a lot more loose, aren't they, in off season?
When people have done the last show and they go, oh, there's no, you know, I'm competing next year or the year after, maybe, they just like lose all motivation, have an adrenaline dump, feel shit, fuck the gym off, they just end up in a shit way. And then I know I've done this myself. I get so deep in off season, I'm like, I'm still miles away from dieting yet, right? I've got 2 meals left. I want to go to bed. I can't be ass fucking about. I'm getting a pizza. The calories will cover both meals. But in reality, all you're doing is just screwing yourself up even more, because in the next day,
do that though. Like, that makes me feel worse mentally than if I was to just sit and fucking force it into like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, it does, mate. It actually does, yeah.
even down to digestion. Like, I know it's fucking one of the big taboo topics now. Everyone's like, oh, digestion is key. But when I have a fucking takeaway or whatever it is, or cheat meal, I'm like, fucking, like the next.
It's not like that. It's like I probably could get away with it in my off season, because, like, I don't know, you guys don't know how long you followed me, but I do stay reasonably lean all year round. I don't really get fat.
Is that from trying to keep your weight low, Lou, or is that just because
that has been, through understanding that if we just add tons of weight in my off season, I'm just going to pull it off. Like, I was realistic, like, you know, like everyone goes, oh, I'm going to get massive. I thought, what's the fucking point in getting massive? Because I'm not going to win my pro card that way. I can't get down to the weight, so I've got to just stay as I am. So I stay pretty lean. I mean, I probably will anyway now, but it's not really because of that. It's just because the thought of, like, if I'm trying to achieve something, every so often off season, I probably could swap my last meal for a takeaway, and it wouldn't even damage me that much. That's fine. I'd probably still be exactly where I am now. But the difference is that I won't feel the same doing it.
The reason,
Like,
the
I
real
like
reason,
to feel like a fucking machine, like I'm bang on the money. And if anyone goes to me, have you done that? I can go, too fucking right. I did it this time. When did you do it? Or I love the thought of like knowing that I have done everything all the time, bang on. It's like, it gets addictive, doesn't it?
tell them the real reason, right? The real reason we all stay relatively lean in off season is we're all part of Conte Sports. We all use pre-shred all year round. Use code KD10. Fuck these two.
The funny thing is, I like the feeling on it that much. I actually do use it all year round.
Hey,
I actually love feeling like that.
Hey, I'm the same, bro. It's like modafinil or pre-shred. I'm like, well, let's see what happens. I just do one of each, and then a fucking pre-workout.
I was using it, and then I came out of prep, and obviously, I'm like, well, my work and my check-ins and all that shit were fucking mint. My clients are getting check-ins from me when I'm on pre-shred, singing and dancing. They're absolutely loving it. So I'm thinking, right, I've got to keep this up now.
Do you not find that as well? We was on about saying from prep to off season, you're so efficient and so fucking productive that you set yourself up to fail when it comes to off season, because then you're like, I can't keep this level of fucking productivity up. It's like,
I don't need to get up at 5 anymore.
Yeah, it's so productive. I was like, fucking hell. I was getting up at like 4 just because you fucking on treading, just get up, wake up anyway. And I was just like, boom. I literally have a 4-hour work block where I just fucking absolutely nail everything. Come to off season now, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm up at 7. Like, I'm way behind the fucking. Everyone's like checking in at 5. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, when you get people that say, "Oh, I can't wait for off season because it'll be so productive," I'm like, you don't do off season then, mate. If you're productive in off season, you're not doing off season. All off season is sleeping and fucking eating. You can't do much else.
Shit.
Yeah, I think as well, like balloon, it's good for me and Luke because we don't have to technically balloon up to as heavy as we possibly can, and it does allow you to stay a little bit, like say, more productive. But it's still difficult because what does your food in the off season go up to? Does it go quite high if you stay quite lean?
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm really shit at eating food, even in like
as he eats his
show and anything. Like I'm sat here while I'm eating a meal, but it's taking me half an hour to eat this tiny fucking meal. Like, I'm not a big eater, so I'm not a pig. Even post show, off season, when food gets like over 4,000 calories for me, I mean high, I can eat it. I just don't like eating a lot of food.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, exactly.
So even like post show and stuff, like the thought of being overly full, really don't like that feeling. So
I'm exactly the same, mate. And I think that's what makes you good at dieting.
Yeah. So my off-season food does get high, but what we actually had to do last year was we used more like structured. He had to put them in because I wouldn't eat them, so he'd have to tell me what to have for like an off plan. But I'd have to have like 2 or 3 a week to boost my weekly calories up because I couldn't eat the meals just through like the chicken and rice meal. So like my off-plan meals were pretty fucking heavy meals because that was the only opportunity I could get to get a bit more calories in.
Yeah, that's what I do as well. Exactly the same.
Which actually helped, and it helped me keep my actual daily food a little bit more controllable. And it made like not having to force feed as much, which was good. So I'll probably maybe end up doing something like that similar last year. I ended up having like three triple cheeseburgers and 2 fries and a milkshake like 3 times a week to try to get calories in instead of meals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've got like twice a week is like 5 guys twice a week. And I'm like,
I was doing things like that, and then you get to the point in your off season where the 5 guys taste like pretty much the same as your other meals. So I was like, I'm just fucking doing McDonald's because it's save the menu. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Just smaller as well.
It takes 2 minutes to come to you, and it's like,
yeah, mate, 100%. Like I always say that as well. With like people say, "Oh, you're having a big tasty like every other day." I'm like, on my last meal. It's like I fucking need to. One, because like you say, I just couldn't. Kieran's pretty much a fucking machine, so he'll get 7,000 calories in, but I just couldn't eat 7,000 calories in quote unquote clean, like 250 gram of oats. So just like it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, like my post-show meal was a chicken breast with about 7 chips. that was all I had. That was literally it. And then I had an iced tea. That was nice.
Yeah.
I find post show though. To be fair though, Lou, like did you carb up big?
No, not as big as. Well, what we did was, so the first show that we had, when I did the hard body, I wasn't happy with my look. I didn't like it. Obviously, I won the overall. I really didn't like how I felt on stage. When I come off stage, I said to Nate, "We need to fix that," because I did not like that at all. That was not fun.
Did you
What we
call
had to do? Well, no, we couldn't. I couldn't eat anything on that show. That was a show I couldn't eat or drink a single thing. So the boys had to like drive me down to the weigh-in at like 6 o'clock. I'm in the back of the car. I need food for fucking ages. Like we're talking well over 24 hours at this point. I'm just fucked. I was literally like, could barely talk, barely fucking move.
Hallucinating.
Man, weighing at like 6 o'clock, but you're on stage the next day, aren't you? At like 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're an 100 kilo, 6 foot bloke, and I'm not huge, but I've got a decent amount of muscle mass. Not like you two, but it takes me a bit of time to fill out still. So for me, that's like well over 1,000 grams of carbs to fill my tank out fully. Mm-hmm. But you can't put that into someone in less than 24 hours, not with the strength of the physique that I've got. Like my biggest attribute is my midsection. Mm-hmm. Now, the minute you're overdoing the boundaries of food in any kind of eating window, you're pushing that, and I could feel that. So the difference that we had in Spain is it's an open weigh-in. So you can go in the morning when it opens up at like 9 and just basically get a slot, jump on the scales, and then we had literally an extra 10 hours of eating.
That's a really good.
So that we could do the same food, but spread out a lot more. So we did like 9 meals from weigh-in to stage, which was like 7 on one day and then 2 on the day next day. Each meal with like 100 grams of carb, whatever fats. And what we did this time was I noticed that, you know, things like jam, honey, things like that, anything like that, I really don't like the feeling in my stomach. I'd prefer to literally just do banana and baby rice.
Yeah, just light and easy.
Because baby rice, you can just make into like a wallpaper paste if you don't put any water in, can't you?
No, that's exactly what I do.
Up. Yeah, mashed banana up. And I was just having that. And that literally was like the tiniest bit of food, but sat so well. So we changed up the carb sources. We had a lot longer to do it. And in comparison, how tight I felt around my midsection stomach in Spain, I literally felt empty in comparison.
Better, isn't it?
See, that's the difference in it between the classes though, right? So I'm in the... My issue right now is I have to have that much food going to a show. I struggle with my waist. It's not that I've got a big fucking waist, but I can pull it.
That you feel to make that, yeah. That you're on that, yeah. Which is how I felt with the hard body. Luckily, no one can really see it though on your physique as much.
I know that's where I have the conversation. It's like
you've got the feeling, haven't you?
Vacuum, just a semi-vacuum on stage. That's all you need to do. You don't. It doesn't need to be touching your spine because it doesn't work well for your class anyway. Just don't let it out. But it's fucking so hard to control.
Yeah. And then what I actually did aside from that was I went through all my poses and created alternatives that wouldn't require me to do a vacuum if I needed to not have to do one. Yeah. So I could still fucking hit a pose and not like a wally. So I just felt overall a lot more confident, a lot more prepared.
I don't understand the guys me like in the off season who can pull a deep vacuum. Like how?
I can, yeah.
Food in your stomach. How, bro?
It's just the you don't know the amount of midsection shit that I do. It's a bit over the top.
Yeah, but
it's not over the top.
It's definitely needed. I do the same every morning. Like you've got to do, because for us as well, what I said to Kieran, us when you move into the pros, what we had in the amateurs, shape, structure, small waist, lines, everyone's got that.
And that's the other thing about not getting too fat and fluffy is that I do genuinely believe that one of the reasons why I've kept such a good midsection is because I've not allowed it to get fluffy that much at any point. Yeah, it's not sharp in off season, but I've always got abs, like a nice set of abs and obliques. So it's just, but yeah, I absolutely drill them like stupid. I've become like weirdly obsessed with it.
But it's a massive factor because even though we have small waists as guys in the classic pros, I've never seen waist that small. And I'm just like, you're just like, what the fuck? So even though like when we was in the UK amateurs or like even international amateurs, we're like got the smallest waists, we're like on the greatest midsections. When you're stepping up that tier now, I was thinking, fucking hell, I thought my waist was small. These guys are fucking unbelievable. So you can't, when I will say, like, when we're moving into the pro leagues, it's like the little details of things that you've not overlooked, or other people overlook, like you saying, being obsessed with your midsection, is what is going to make you better. It has to be that level. It has to be. And that's one thing that I learned. Like, these guys don't fucking miss. Like, they do not miss on anything.
And do you know what the other thing that I found as well? I think I found this last year when I was doing higher standard shows, and that's what I'd say is a shock, is that they can work on stage as well. That's one thing I had to do from last year to this year, is I have got so fit at posing this year that I can go for hours. But if you don't think that you need to do as much as you do, they're going to wipe the floor. The high standard amateurs, even the ones chasing pro qualifiers, they'll go round after round and not even break a sweat.
I had the same in the Island show. I got the first call out and I fucked it up because I hadn't. They worked us and worked us and worked us. And what it is, I think, in the pro leagues is because you are the pros, the people are there to see you. So they're going to keep doing round and round and round. By the fourth round of posing, I was fucked. And people was, and no word of lie, people was beating me just because they could pose better or they could hit the shot better. And I was like, fuck. Yeah.
Because you need just that stamina, the level of that. Everything goes up a notch, and it isn't just the physiques. It's not just everything, and people don't realize that.
That's the reason I was saying to people as well, is like, yes, look, we had the physiques, but even just like down to the tanning, down to even the presence, down to every stage presence.
Tanning was mint as well, yeah.
Everything, mate, is upper level. But
I asked him, I was like, "What is this tan that you're using?" I was like, "What is it?" Because it was just 3 coats that they did on a day within half an hour, all back to back.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
And after I had all 3, fucking hell, mate, I looked. My skin was good, like really good level. And they were like dabbing it with like actual pads and stuff and drying you off at the same time and checking every area to make sure one full layer was smooth, dry before they even did anything to the next one. Like,
yeah,
they were really good with it.
It's a level. It's just, like you say, it's just levels up. But that obsessive mindset on everything now is what's going to make sure that you're one of the best in it.
Yeah, I think so. Because the thing is with me as well is I know that a lot of people, and I've had people comment to me in the past, like, yeah, but you don't see all the top guys having to do all the little shitty nitty bits that you do all the time. I'm like, well, no, you don't. But like them top guys got there when they were 22. I'm 27, and I'm not as genetically as elite as they are, and I have to do these things to be on their level.
Yeah, and even just down to where can you be like a little % better than people?
Yeah, I've had to do that massively.
It's weird because there's guys who we can't rely on genetics, even if you've got good genetics. In the top, when they're going about the top tier people, they don't have to do that because of the top tier genetics. If we're just like, obviously to turn pro, you've got to have some level of genetics, but we have to outwork people. That's just
like fucking Sebum. No, he doesn't have to weigh his salt out, but like he doesn't have to do what he probably don't have to not eat food to make weight and stuff. Like, I'm trying to control it. I'm trying to make sure that I can try to get there in every possible way. Yeah. So it's like, well, no, maybe I wouldn't have to do some of it, I suppose, but if I do all of it, then I don't give that chance to us.
There's no regret either. There's no regrets to look back and go, oh, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's like, no, I give it everything, and it is what it is. Rather than looking back and like, oh, maybe if I'd have just done that.
I think that's the other thing as well, winning my pro card. I think, when you asked at first, like, how does it feel? That's one of the main things that I felt was like relief when you were saying. But because you know how many times I've heard from people that even people that were meant to be really close to me, they've told me that I'm wasting my time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you know how many times I have heard that, or like what I'm doing is a waste of my life, or something like this, like, or what's the point, or like you've still not won it, and all this shit, and you're putting out loads of like I've had loads of stuff about it, loads of comments. You finally get there and you think, fucking knew it.
Yeah,
fucking knew it. You fuckers, I knew.
I told you. Like,
relief. It was relief.
It's not one of the things like I hate to say I told you so, but I told you.
And then it's not like in a shitty way. It wasn't like, yeah, fuck you, like I've done this. It was more like yeah, damn right. I knew I was fucking right all along. Like, trust your gut kind of feel.
Lou, where do you think your self-belief comes from?
Do you know what? Like, I honestly think it's come from like my family. I've got quite like, and my brothers and like my mum and the way she brought us up. Like what my brothers do for jobs and what they do with their lifestyles is very extreme as well in different avenues. So, we are like I'm the youngest of 3 by quite a margin. I've watched my brothers achieve quite a lot, like in their lives, and do quite a lot of crazy shit. and they've never really been normal. I've been kind of subjected to that from quite a young age.
So then you're sort of like, what is normal? You know,
yeah, that was my normal. Like the things that my brother did, like my brother was joined the Marines at 18 and all this, and did loads of crazy. And I was like 12 at the time, watching all that shit, watching him going out for stupid runs, going to the gym, doing everything he could do to. And when you grow up around that 24/7, like it is ingrained and drilled into you to want to be better constantly. I think that's just where it comes from. I don't think I'm necessarily special. I think I just got lucky with the people that I was probably subjected to around me at an early age, and it's probably rubbed off really well.
Yeah, and then you just push that to the limits of your own thing, innit? The whatever you're into. I think that's a massive thing for all of us. Is like it is just a personal thing.
And it's like that. I come from like quite a small town, really, where nothing goes on at all. Like it's a shit place to live. It's a bit of a shithole to dive. I wanted to move out of that. I wanted to get away from that. That was also my drive. Like I didn't want to be part of all that. I wanted to go off and do more and see more and like experience different stuff. So that was my drive as well. Thinking like I don't want to be here doing the same shit as everybody else. Like that doesn't look fun to me. I was looking at everyone else is doing, thinking that shit. I'll do something different. So there's multiple reasons, really. I think.
I find as well once you've won one show and then you go to the next show, it just reconfirms to you like, well, I've done that.
No, it took me ages to win a show.
Yeah, it was different for me. Like it was weird. I won all my first shows. So then I was like, right, okay, well, I need to try and win everything. You know what I mean? Like in my head, I was like, I need to try and win everything. Because I remember we had a conversation years ago, didn't we, Lou?
Yeah.
We had a phone call conversation. We was talking about. Yeah,
I remember because that's after the first show I won.
Yeah, I remember.
I won a PCA show in Classic. I'd done men's
2018. 2018.
Yeah. 2019, I think it was actually. 2018, 19, maybe 18 actually. You might be right, yeah. But I remember I'd done men's physique for like 5 years competing, never won a show. I'd come second was the best that I'd got in a PCA show at the time. And I was always like the underdog. I just felt like not really like a top tier, which was fine. I was happy with where I was at, to be honest. It didn't stop me. I still wanted to keep doing it, but
do you think that was a driving force though of trying? If you had a won, you might have worked.
Mate, I honestly do believe with the way that I like to live and how much I like it. I think if I was still getting if I had never moved to Classic and I was still kind of just getting those little crappy I was natural at the time, like places that I was, I think I'd still keep doing it, mate. I might not be as good or whatever as I am now, but I think regardless of where my places were, I really do think I'd have kept going. Just because I like it.
What is it that you love about bodybuilding so much? Like, is it the routine? Is it the...
No, it's that, mate. I am like not quite wired properly. Like
none of us are.
If you let me off and let me free reign in the world, I'd probably cause havoc. Like if you keep me bodybuilding, I am fucking dialed in focus, but also mega happy because I've got something that like gives me a lot of like gratitude in return quite easily, and I can see and measure. So it keeps me really on track, as well as like giving me quite a lot of fulfillment. And I don't think there's many things that are like that in comparison, really.
Not in the sense of like you say, meeting other people who are into it, and then also like with your clients and things like that, you can help them with. It's like, it's going to sound cliche, but you are an inspiration to other people by just doing what you fucking love doing, which is phenomenal. Like you're like, where does that normally? Like you're just doing exactly what you want to do and what you love to do, and then people draw inspiration from that.
And that's the thing as well. The people, I suppose, that's why I love it. Like when I did it for the first few years, I was doing it on my own. Really, I didn't really know what it was, or that there was a community. I had no idea. I didn't have Instagram when I did my first shows or anything. So Jamie DeRigo actually coached me for my first show, right, guys? Ever. However, I didn't know who he was at all. I just Googled online. He'd come up on Facebook. So I'd messaged him on Facebook, and he just prepped me through Facebook Messenger.
Right, so he's literally for that.
That's my first prep. I honestly, not until years later, until I eventually got into the fitness industry, and I got Instagram, and I'd obviously got accustomed to Instagram, and I realised who he was. I thought, fucking hell. Like, no idea.
Struck it lucky, to be fair, for your first prep.
But mate, literally what happened was, like, I messaged him. I was like, oh, I need a prep. I want to do a competition. I had no idea. I'd seen one near to me in Hull. So I want to do a competition. He was like, yeah, mate, if you want to do it, it's in 12 weeks. He was like, it'd be this amount of money, PayPal'd him it over, and that was it. I just fucking followed everything he said to the letter, and I came second as well in that show.
What got you into competing? What made you want to compete?
The idea was actually put into me originally by a lad at the gym that I worked at. I was already training for quite a few years, looking quite good. I was pretty much doing everything that a bodybuilder would do without knowing what bodybuilding competitively was.
Right.
Just through watching and learning on forums and YouTube and on the websites like the train back, watching everything you could. I was like a sponge. I was obsessed. So I was implementing all that myself for a couple of years. Obviously, as you can imagine, you make fucking tons of progress. There's no stress. You're just young, you're training. I worked in a gym and there was a lad at the gym doing a show. And I was watching him prep and I thought, I do that shit anyway. Just because these guys have told me to on YouTube, it'll work. I thought I could do that. So I had a bit of a look into it and ended up doing a show.
Yeah, I think after that first prep, you either know if you're addicted, or you know if bodybuilding's for you, or if it's not for you. And I always look at it like, I don't know what I would actually do, as sad as that sounds, without bodybuilding. Like if I was to stop bodybuilding right now, I'm like, what do I do?
I think that's people always worry about that, don't they? They always say to you what are you going to do after it? But at the end of the day, mate, we're professional bodybuilders now. I don't think we really have to worry about that. It's going to be some part of my life forever.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. It's like whatever context that is whether it's prepping people or just an ambassador for the sport, or even if
I'm an old bloke going in the gym trying to fucking just jump on whatever I can, it will be incorporated in my life in some way. So it's not really a worry.
No, I don't think you'd be we had this conversation in the last podcast. It's not you are a bodybuilder, but bodybuilding is something you do. So the thing is you're always gonna do it. Because you started out, like you said, without Instagram, without competing, you bodybuild before because you enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Rather than it just being like, oh, I do shows, so I've got to do bodybuilding. It's like, no,
I just think in comparison, what would I be doing otherwise?
And
then when I compare what that would be like in comparison with the levels of enjoyment, I'm like, no brainer. Then I'll just keep doing this. This is mint.
When I was an engineer and I'd be working 8 to 12 hour days, I was doing Arnold's bodybuilding encyclopedia. 3 times a week I was training twice a day. You know, I train, then I go to work, then I train again. Then the next day I train after work, then the day after, before and after work, I just carry on like that. Because I love training. I didn't compete. I didn't even know what bodybuilding was. I just fucking loved training.
Yeah.
What do you think it is about training that you love so much?
I am actually someone that likes training with people.
I can't train on my own. I struggle to train on my own. You can train on your own.
I like training on my own. I do. It depends what mood I'm in. But the thing I love about training is that, to be honest, that no one can, it sounds bad, but you can do it your way. That's what I love about it, is that it's so versatile. It can be so enjoyable. There are so many different ways to do it that there is probably some kind of way to do it that you're going to like. You just might not have found it yet. So it is fucking mint. And when you've had a mint session, when you've gone in a gym, when you've actually put in everything you know you can, you know it's going to contribute towards something positively because you've literally tried that much. That's not really a feeling that you can replicate every day from anything else but training. And you get the option to go in somewhere that's accessible to everyone and get that feeling every day if you want it. And that for me is like training. Do you know what I mean?
That's exactly it. It's nothing even down to really growing muscle. It's down to it's in my control. I can do it when I want, how I want, and
because it's like one thing you can control every day. You can put a little bit of time in. You can guarantee if you do actually try it, you can be better from it. It's a guaranteed thing. Like if you give 100% to that portion of your day, you will get better at it. That's why it's mint, because it's something that is actually a guarantee in life. People just can't tap into it, can they?
That's what I had the same. Kieran would have probably had the same. I'm not sure if you played sport when you was younger, but we played football. And the thing was, it was like we could play a whole fucking game and lose. And I could have given everything to it. And then I still lose. Whereas with training, I know as long as I do everything I'm meant to do and bodybuilding, I will be better. And it's all.
I was never that good at sport, though.
No, it's weird. Like how some people in bodybuilding, they've never actually played sport.
To be honest, people who aren't good at sports would say that I was good at sport, but people who are like really good at sport would say I'm okay at sport. I'm like that level of good at sport. Do you know, like I'm the guy on school when you've got like a team of people. I'm like I'm getting picked in the middle for every sport. I'm never last and I'm never first. So I'm not good because I'd have never made it in anything. But I was decent enough to play anything with my mates at a good and look okay. That
Was
was
that
where I
probably
was.
from being like stubborn and hardworking?
Yeah, like not. I honestly, genuinely don't think that I've got like a generic, like mad, like natural gift. I think I've just had to fucking keep going. I think my gift is that I just don't fucking.
But that's I would say this to Kieran, like you beat people by just outlasting them. Because you look
That is,
at it.
mate. That is literally how I've ended up becoming a professional bodybuilder.
Oh, same. I've seen the same. Like I was bodybuilding. It's weird as well because you look at me, yourself, Rob, James. I'm just talking about like British pros. We've all done 10 years in the game before we got a pro card. It wasn't like we just was like, oh, we're genetic freaks. We're just gonna fucking turn up and win these shows. It's like we did 10 years of just outworking people for 10 years straight. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like all the fucking, like, say, second place, another second place is like, I'll just keep going. I'm just going to keep going. And that's what, and we've seen most people who we competed against, then now they don't even bodybuild because they couldn't sustain it. They couldn't last. Innit?
You can even say that about training partners over the years. How many training partners have you had?
Oh, fucking
hell.
yeah. So many.
Countless, isn't it?
Yeah.
Massively. So you're like, are you transitioning into like an off-season sort of like prep or just straight back?
I'm in a health phase now, so we've just come off everything. Just put me onto a cruise, and then I've just literally at the start of last week just started on like all my extensive health pills and all that jazz to get everything back on.
To get everything, your blood work back into...
Yeah, we just, because obviously we're going to be using again shortly, if we're going to be doing that pro show. And the good news is we only just did an 8-week prep.
Yeah,
so I haven't only been on for a small period of time.
Sorry, I know I'm going back a bit now, but how did you find doing an 8-week prep to doing a 36-week prep?
I will never be doing a long prep again, ever.
No, see, I had this discussion.
8 weeks too bit too short, bro. I'll be honest with you. Like, if I'd have had some more responsibilities going on in my life, let's say, for example, I don't know, like, let's say I had like I had a missus, or I had loads of time, or anything like that, like, probably would have to take longer, but I was able to get up every day and go, right, fucking boom, let's go 100 mile an hour, which is great.
That's how I do it. Anyway.
But I reckon for me, 10 to 14, pushing 16 if you're going to be doing multiple shows and going on from that, brilliant. Any more than that, mate, for me, I just don't enjoy it. I don't want to do it.
I did a 20-week prep this time, and it was like you say, I got towards the end of it, and I was like, I'm fucking done with this shit. Because I've just been no cheat meal, like not that you need cheat meals, but no cheat meals, no time off. I was just like same old, and it was slower, but it was shit.
Exactly. And it's shit, and that's how I felt last year, exactly the same. And it's one of them, mate. Like, I've decided after winning my pro card this year, and this maybe sounds like a bit arrogant, but it don't really matter. I really don't fucking care. I can just bodybuild the way I fucking want. I'm going to do it the way I want for the rest of my career, the way I enjoy to do it. That's going to be the main parameter and basis of every decision that I make. Is enjoyment is going to be key point number one, and everything's going to follow from that.
That's the mindset, bro. Like,
if you're not a dick in off season, you shouldn't need a long prep.
No, I agree. It's just I like that way more. I found it way more fun. I was mentally way happier. There wasn't even there was absolutely no point in that prep where I had a single day where I thought, I don't want to be doing this.
You look back at the old school bodybuilders like Sean Ray and these Fletcher. They all used to do 8 to 10 week preps, but again, they didn't have massive 12 months off seasons.
The other thing though as well is, as a pro, if you can do the shorter preps, it's not necessarily a bad thing because let's be honest, it's partially our income.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Or it should be anyway. I mean, I know it's not, but it should be.
Oh, but it all like transcends into different avenues, doesn't it? More clientele, more exposure, more sponsorship, more sales. So
that's the weird thing about being a professional bodybuilder. You know, people ask you like this as well. Like,
how much?
Bet you earn a good amount of money from that, then, don't you? I'm like, no, fuck off.
Yeah, do you know what I've done? It's really weird, right? I have a laugh with my missus about it. I always say, like, I'll say to someone, oh, how much is the prize money? And I'll say, oh, it's £500,000. You know, like say the Olympia. And they're like, oh, that's all right, isn't it? And I'm like, what?
No.
Like, no, but I'm like, it's £500,000. Where do you know anyone who wins £500,000 for one show? But they still just be, regardless of whether it's £1,000.
This is how I like compare it to people that don't know, right? And it's probably a really shitty comparison, but they can kind of grasp it if you don't know bodybuilding, right? So let's say like to win £500,000, yeah, you've got to be on the money every day for fucking God knows how many years. You can't slip because if you do, someone else is winning that £500,000, right? But if you play football and you don't fucking score and you have a shit game, right? Someone else can pick up the pieces and pick it up for you. You're still getting your paycheck when you've left that pitch. Makes no difference. You can play 10 shit games. You can not turn up to training and get injured. You can miss your food. They're paying your bills, no bother. If on bodybuilding you decide to miss one fucking meal, then it's on you if you don't win it. And that's in years, mate.
I was watching this Tour de France thing last night. This Mark Cavendish, I think it was, like some fucking.
I've seen it on Netflix. I've not watched it, but
it was good, to be fair. Fucking mega, to be fair. But anyway, I was looking at that, and it was like Tour de France, and it was saying like the top 200 riders in Tour de France, like it's elite. And I'm thinking, fucking the Olympia's like what, fucking 40 people max. Yeah, like the top 40 people of your like top 10 really in it who's going to make any money from it.
Like, don't get me wrong, that's still mad, isn't it? 200 top people in the world. That's fucking insane. That's absolutely nuts. Standard, that's insane. But yeah, to get to the Olympia, like the steps as well in bodybuilding that you have to go through to get, even like to be winning, like even if you're winning a medium standard show in amateurs of a medium federation of a medium like size capacity show, you're still a really good bodybuilder if you're winning it.
Yeah.
You're still fucking insane. You've still done something that people can't comprehend, and you're not even nearly at the point where you're going to be able to put a meal on your table.
Yeah, it's crazy at like the amount of, well, the less of money that we don't fucking have. Do you know what I mean? Compared to some sports.
That's the question. Yeah, that's the question I get asked. I've asked a few times. Yeah.
Yeah, how much do you make from it? It's like you kind of almost have to justify it, don't you? But what my saying is, I do it for free. I don't have to get paid for it because I fucking love it. Do you know what I mean?
How much of a hack don't you think that's a little bit of a hack that we've all got, that we're able to do this for free and then be dead happy and like achieve all these other things around it, yet we do something for free?
Yeah.
The reason you make money is because the effort and everything that you put into bodybuilding, you transfer it into some sort of business.
Yeah, and also, let's be honest, like in any field, if you see someone that's really passionate, it's fucking like enticing. Like if you see someone talking about something they're passionate about, it's fixating, isn't it?
100%. People can feel it. People will know if it's genuine or it's not. And when it is, and you, like you said, the messages that you got after winning your pro card, the amount of people that are watching you do that, and then that's inspiring them to think, fucking hell, Louis done it. I could win a pro card. It's like that in itself is huge. Not many.
I honestly think that's one for me. Is I honestly think that I would be an example as to how anybody genuinely can do it if they want, like literally anybody. Because I am no way near as special or gifted or talented as half the boys that have won theirs.
But me and Jamie used to always say this. Like me and Jamie from the same town, used to train together, grew up together. It's not a fucking coincidence that we both got a pro card. It's a mindset thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like we literally have the same sort of mindset to be like, right. And the thing is now, the young kids around our area are like, well, they've done it. I could do it. And I'm saying to them,
I don't get that. From my era, I get, he's done that, what a knob.
Well, that's just because you're a knob. No,
yeah. I'll tell you that.
No, but it's nice to be able to then say to kids, you can fucking go and have a fucking good crack at it. Because like you say, I'm a normal person, you're a normal person when we've done it. Do you know what I mean? It's that's one of the big things for me as well with my pro career. I want it just to be inspiring to others rather than just being all about me. Yeah, 100%. How are you feeling, bro? You're like
spaced out a bit, mate. Yeah, I am spaced out.
Yeah, we'll do it in the morning because Kieran will have the most energy there.
Yeah, he's fucking. I don't blame him, man. He's grafting it, aren't you?
What day is your show on?
Friday.
Fridays on the Friday. Sound.
Yeah. What time are you on? Is it just before the 2:12?
Yeah, 2:30 bodybuilding starts. But
there's that much going on in it that I'm not in tune with any timings. I'm just gonna have to whack it on and leave it.
Yeah, so bodybuilding starts at 2:30, but that is bodybuilding and 212 finishes at 5. So there's only 2.5 hours for all of us amateurs and the 212.
This is definitely streamed, isn't it?
It will be. I'm not
I'll
saying
just stick it on the telly all day then and just leave it on.
I'm opting to drive down for 4 hours. No,
I could have done that, but do you know what? I'll be completely honest with you, mate. They absolutely rinses you doing this.
yeah.
I'm staying in for the next few weekends, like I tell you I am, because it's really, really like not sorry, it's really, really like not it's a bit of a shock actually how much it does cost her. And I was speaking to like the other pros and saying, like, did it, because I didn't know if it was just me, like it's a bit like, does everyone think, like, fucking hell, this is fucking a bit much? Because I was a bit worried when I was doing my program. How much does it cost?
I said
You
after this last show, it's gonna be nice to have a clear head and just sort my finances out. Because it gets to a point where you're so close to a show that you don't give a fuck.
Your outgoings for this game are, when you actually look at them, they're ridiculous.
Yeah, mate.
Ridiculous.
I don't want to look at them because it's fucking scary.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, after this year, I thought, I was like, saying to like the other boys, like, I really don't know if I don't win this one, how many more I'm going to be able to try? Because like the show itself, like to enter in the big man weekend, say this on the podcast, people might not know, it cost me like €300 to enter the show. Then you're paying €150 for your tan. Then for every little, I've paid over €250 for like photos and videos. Like,
yeah, and then you've got your flights, your accommodation, your fucking it's shit that people don't even think about while you're there. It's like everything has to be covered. Do you know what I mean? And then it's normally like fucking. Then you've got your coaching on top of that, and it's just.
The food as well. When you like, obviously, when I was in Portugal, same prices as you there, Lou. And then you're like, right, okay, you need to get me food.
You know what? Benidorm was cheap as shit. The only bad thing about Benidorm, it was great because of the prices, everything. The flight was short. It's just in Benidorm. So when you're doing your normal routine, like I'd be still up at 5, going out for my morning walk. I'm out doing my morning walk 2 days out from my show, and I've got like God knows how many people coming up to trying to get me into this bar, offering me this drug. You know what I mean? And I've like got my hood up trying to fucking walk like 2 days out. You know,
I had the same thing, was making weight for the Alicante, and I didn't realize Alicante's right next to Benidorm.
Yeah, it is.
So I was on the flight, and there's loads of stags, loads of pissed up people on this morning flight. And you know what it's like making weight. I was like, I hadn't drank. I'd had 300 ml of fucking espresso, and that was it. Like for fucking days on end.
I know, because I had 30 grams of whey paste before my flight to keep me going alive, mate.
Yeah.
And I got on the plane, and the first thing I had was, fucking hell, mate. What? Like, you know what you get, don't you? You know what you get, because I was wearing a vest. Why was I wearing a vest?
Yeah, mate. I was but it was funny for me because a few weeks before I'd gone to Ibiza and I was that dickhead. I was that dickhead on the flight being like, yeah, payback, calm as a bitch, man. I was like, you fucking get me off this flight. But yeah, Alicante was good. It was a nice, easy flight, to be fair. But like you say, it all just racks up, doesn't it? I made the biggest mistake as well of like, I fucking took my whole family. And that's one thing I said to them this time round. I was like, bodybuilding is just going to have to be business, because if I only took them to fucking Ireland, but I paid for like obviously the kids, missus, fucking family, and then their hotels and that. And I was like,
oh mate, it cost you thousands, bro.
Hey, it did. It did, and I was like, I didn't even get to see them. I literally, because it was like the morning show, obviously pre-judging, and then obviously I was backstage till fucking finals. And they were like, "Oh, you coming for some food?" I'm like,
you are honestly better trying to get the earliest flight you are back and coming and spending some quality time with your family when there's no stress, because they can't see you. You're running about everywhere like a wild fucking.
Yeah. And at that point as well, you can't be. It sounds horrible. You can't be accommodating to anybody else but yourself. And everybody's like, "What time are you on? Have you got this ticket? Have you got?" And I'm like,
everybody, what's the link? What's the link? And you got 50 people asking you. No, that's mad, isn't it? But yeah, it's just one of those things where like I did the same thing. I had to say to everybody, like, I appreciate everybody wanting to support me, but I'm going to go and pay for me for what I need. So if anyone wants to come, you're more than welcome to come. But I can't afford to pay for anyone, because if I don't win this, I might have to fly 3 other places. And you guys won't want to come to all them, but I've got to go them. So I said, I'm going to go do this on my own. Anyone wants to come can come. I'm fortunate enough to have amazing friends, and they were like, yeah, we're coming. But
yeah, it works better as well though. Like when you have less stress and less people to deal with, who are like, obviously Kenny's fucking amazing. He does everything. Like I've got my training partner who does everything for me, which is great. But like when you bring family, It's just that they want to.
Oh, mate, yeah.
just-
If you're bringing people that aren't the same, in the same mindset, same routine as you to these abroad shows, they're just going to stress you out, mate. It
Yeah,
does. It's
yeah.
hard work. It's really
It's
hard.
easy to
And it's shit because you have to be selfish, don't you? And it's not like they can understand or they even get it. So
And
you just seem like a knobhead.
even if they do get it, it's like I feel bad then because I think you fucking travelled all this way. I'm like, I'm just going to see this person. Oh, I'm just going to say hi to this person. It's like,
But at the end of the day, you either prioritize it because you're trying to win something you've been going for 10 years, or it's like, It's just I know that. I know that problem.
But even
anyone who's trying to get a pro card abroad, just fucking go on your own.
Yeah,
even London though this weekend, she's like, oh well, after the show then, right? Why don't you just stay with me? We'll get a hotel. We'll stay with the kids. We'll go out for something to eat that night. We'll take them around London on the Saturday. We'll get the train back. And I went, because that's another 800 quid.
Yeah.
That's going to be at least another 800 quid. Or maybe, I said, just as soon as the show's over, just get the fucking train home and we'll do it all at home. Like the comfort of our own home and be able to go where we want to go to eat and all that kind of shit there.
But I did in Benidorm. I just waited till I got back and went to my mum's and she made me a shepherd's pie.
Yeah,
fucking, I love shepherd's pie as well. Fucking
Sunday,
that was my go-to off plan when I got back after the show. That was like pretty much like the first thing I had. Shepherd's pie, mate. What a meal!
I always crave weird shit as well on like beans.
Like shepherd's pie, beans on toast,
mate.
like that. I love beans on toast. That's another one with cheese. After a show, I fucking love that.
I don't know why.
After our, we've got content day on Sunday, haven't we, Ryan? EP. And Mum said,
oh shit, yeah, we have, haven't we?
Yeah. So I'm doing dinner on Sunday, and I was like, I'll make sure I'm there. Like, obviously, I'm not eating. And then I went, hold on, you're a fucking ham. Make me a Sunday dinner. I'm eating.
Yeah, that's like the one as well, innit? It don't get better than a Sunday roast either, bro. That is the best meal you could have.
Yeah, they're literally just like put as much fucking Yorkshire puddings on there as you fucking can fit, and just again and again and again over.
I don't even want to see the food because there's that much gravy on it.
Yeah.
Massive plate of gravy.
But for now, you got to stay on fucking plan. So shut up. No,
right.
Turkey and rice, game on.
You're right.
Right, bro. I'm gonna fucking actually get some check-ins done this morning. It's been absolutely fucking epic to speak to you, bro.
Yeah, man. Pleasure, boys.
We will probably be meeting up. I was speaking to Jack saying we need to get sessions in because you're at Rotherham, innit?
It's like an hour from me. I'm always down in like Rotherham S20 in Sheffield quite a lot.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to get a massive content day.
What's that for us? A couple of hours for us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's fuck all. Yeah, it's easy.
It's about an hour for me.
Yeah,
I'm in Hull at the minute. I live in Hull.
Oh, is it Hull that you're at? I thought it was Rotherham.
Yeah, I live in Hull.
Yeah, Hull's not that far from us anyway. So we'll just get down, get Aaron to film it, and fucking smash a session.
That's a shout. That
We'll do
that when Kieran comes back this weekend with a pro card.
Yeah, fucking right. The only problem we've got is me and Kieran are short as fuck, so we'll just have to like angle it so we look taller next year. Kenny's all right. Kenny's short, isn't he? So you can stand behind us. You can stand behind us and be like this. Fucking right.
Yeah, to be honest, he's looking fucking mint at the minute. He's like,
bro,
3.5 weeks out.
He looks so good, doesn't he?
Yeah, 3.5 weeks out.
Yeah, I don't think he will remember, but like when I competed probably 2019, I think it was, and I met him backstage, and the way he's come on from then is
mate, he's a Masters.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, mate. He's unreal.
So, like doing that show might be a good opportunity for him. Never know.
Yeah, I think it will be, and just his overall physique development just looks so much better, doesn't he? It's class. Yeah. Right, I'm gonna shoot. Nice boys. Thanks,
congratulations as well, Luke.
Appreciate it, bud.
Nice one, guys.